Sometime in late 2021, a story spread about a child who managed to hack a bank and transfer important sums to his father's account, which instantly made him a billionaire. Regardless of the authenticity of the story, which later turned out to be inaccurate, this child has a skill that is not found in people older than him, in that he knows the value of money. Many people do not know the value of money or how to earn it, and if they get the money, they cannot keep it. We all asked ourselves about the reasons why some are rich and others are poor. Part of these reasons exceeds us, but most of them are factors we can control. There are habits and behaviors that make the poor and the rich. Why are there people who will never be rich even though their income is not small? What are the things that the poor do that the rich do not? And how do the second and third generations in rich families lose their wealth? In a study conducted in 2017, it was found that 78% of Americans were living on their salary month by month, which means they wait every month for the salary to be able to cover their expenses. The question here is, do all these people receive poor salaries? Of course not. And the reason why the salary cannot cover the expenses of the month is that many people live lives beyond their means. Well, if you now detail your expenses on a piece of paper, you will find that these expenses fall under two items: needs and desires. Needs include things like rent, bills, clothes, food, drink, and transportation, and these are all basic necessities of life that must be paid for. As for desires, they include, for example, amusement parks, picnics, eating in restaurants, and traveling, which are all things we can live without but spend money on. Many people prioritize when getting their salary, but many also make a mistake, which is to spend the rest of the salary on desires that can be dispensed with. Therefore, they cannot save any part of the salary, and this is the first barrier standing between you and building a fortune. In 1899, the American economist and sociologist Thorstein Veblen introduced a term to explain the situation. It is conspicuous consumption, which is the idea of spending large sums just to show off. In short, we live in an economy whose main driver is consumerism. All successful companies share one goal, which is to urge consumers to spend as much as possible to purchase their products. This is regardless of the actual importance of the product or service. The problem is that there is a fine line between needs and wants. For example, commuting to and from work is essential, but at the same time, there may be a desire if you decide to use Uber when there is a cheaper transportation. In a research paper published by Annette Kinnan at Harvard College, she said that many consumers, when they justify the reason for buying unnecessary products, they give what is called functional alibis. When we ask a person why he replaced his fully functional phone with a new one that is twice as expensive as the previous one, he will respond that the new phone has new functions that the old one did not. Likewise, when we question a person why he chose Uber when his salary could not bear this burden, he will say that Uber provides more privacy. As for the main driver of people's consumer behavior is a desire to appear in a certain social position in front of others. So in order to cover the gap between consumer desire and purchasing power, people resort to the second biggest mistake, which is taking easy loan. Borrowing reduces a person's ability to obtain wealth, and it makes him enter a cycle of accumulation of surpluses from which it is difficult to get out of. And all of this is mainly caused from the beginning by irresponsible spending on things. Even the rich do not spend on them. This leads us to misconceptions about the lives and behaviors of the rich. The average American family spends $647 a month on groceries, while the rich family spends about $412 on the same item. And this is something that makes us sure that millionaires are people who know the value of money and will not spend it in vain, and only a careless person will waste the wealth. The reasons why people remain in poverty are the same reasons why second and third generations of millionaires waste wealth. Unfortunately, 70% of rich families lose their wealth at the hands of the second generation. This is simply because a son or grandson is born to find himself living a luxurious life and has no idea how much effort was made to build this wealth. And here we come to the end of the episode, and our question for you today is, do you agree with families that provide everything for their children in order not to feel inferior in front of their peers? I will follow all your answers in the comments. Wait for us in the next episode.